Well, okay, boys and girls, this is Jim again. I'm in the broom cupboard, just trying to make myself comfortable there. I go off track again today. I just feel like it. I want to talk about racism. Now, there seems to be this feeling out there that the only racists are white Anglo-Saxon folk. It's a lot of rubbish, actually. It's not true. I mean, some are racist, of course there are. But racism is endemic throughout the world, and I've worked all over the world, so I can tell you it is. I'm going to tell you a story. This is true. At one time I worked for British Telecom, and I was in the exchange just an exchange somewhere, let's not cut wet edges to keep the guilty, And in them days, I was doing clerk of works duties. That's when contractors would come in, install equipment. My job was to make sure they did it right. If they didn't do it right, rap knuckles. That's no problem. And the way they worked was that the guy who would be the foreman of the contractor, a lot of times with GEC, they'd come in, and what they do, they go down to the local labour exchange and get a load of hefty lads to start hauling in the racks for the equipment. And these racks were 8 feet tall, 4 foot wide or whatever, and really heavy, made a really good angle line and stuff, Not some of the rubbish you see these days, but this was good stuff. And they'd install all this, and the next job was to run the cables in. There'd be hundreds of cables, multi wires inside, really thick ones, and that would be pulled in certain sequence, of course, and done properly. Now, so what they did was the foreman would pick a few of the guys who'd hauling in were pretty good, and go down the labour exchange and get a few more who we thought were good enough to pull cables in. Didn't have to be particularly bright, but a little bit of common sense up there. Anyway, so they got all these guys in. They were of different races. So we had West Indians, Pakistanis, Asians like Chinese, Japanese, Malaysians, all sorts. Even though German and what have you. Now, these people wouldn't work with each other. The West Indians wouldn't work with the Africans, who wouldn't work with them, who wouldn't work with the Chinese, who wouldn't work with the Japanese, and the Pakistanis wouldn't work with anyone. Oh, it's crazy. How do we get them to work and pull the cables in? We sat a white Anglo-Saxon type guy between each one of them, and then it was okay then. Pulled away, no problem. But, tell me who's the racist here? Yeah. I'm going to tell you another story now. This is in Saudi Arabia. I was training the National Guard there, and I actually liked the Arabs. They were good fun, had a good sense of humour. Very British, in fact, their sense of humour. A bit ribald in places, but, that's the way it is. Anyway, these two guys, both called Mohammed. Mohammed, of course, is a common name in Muslim countries, for obvious reasons. And one was Arab, like most of the people there, and the other was of Negroid descent, and probably from the slaves which they had up until 1960 something, I think, over there. And and they were talking, and they come up and said, Mr. Jim. I said, yeah, what's the problem? He said, Mohammed, says the black guy looking at the Arab guy, won't introduce me to his sister. And the Arab guy said, oh, look at him, he's black. I'm not letting my sister go with a black man. But these two guys were the best of mates, and quite happy, went off playing, whatever they did. One was a good guitar player, apparently, and music and whatever. But the racism was there, and it was accepted. And, you got a place like Malaysia. The Malays treat the Indians that were brought in by the British to do the rubber tapping like dirt, basically. And they don't treat the Chinese much better. They're scared of the Chinese because the Chinese are better businessmen. So when I was there, they had this rule that it was made easier for the Malay businessmen to work than it was for the Chinese. So who's a racist there then? The Japanese treat their Korean labourers, or did, like dirt. Who's racist? Racism is endemic over the world, and for obvious reasons when you think about it. It's all to do with fear. Fear that they're going to take something away from you. Your land, your water, your women, whatever. It doesn't really matter. you fear they're going to take them away. And also, you've got these people in different colour. Now, you imagine sort of you go down the streets of, I don't know, Liverpool or somewhere, a couple of green guys came down the road, completely green, from Venus or wherever, you know, and your daughter wanted to go out with one of these guys. Well, hang on, here, what, this green guy, come on. End up with babies being called green gauges. So, you see the point I'm trying to make here, and it's all over the world, and it will never change. It'll get slightly better. And am I racist? I don't think so, but maybe the odd time. I don't like certain people. That's not racism. That's sort of just human. So when you're out there and you hear these people on TV and that go on and on about racism, that and this, these white guys and this, that, and that, just think about it for a bit. Oh, another thing I'd like to point out, the guy that's in the paper recently, this guy some time ago, I can't remember the name, Steve, was murdered, black guy murdered by some white lads. It's gone on and on and on. And I can appreciate the family, discussed this and I don't think the police, the Metropolitan Police did a good job and whatever. But what if it'd been a white guy killed by a group of black people? And it has happened. It would go on. No one would have remembered it now after all these years. And sad, of course, but that's the way it is. And so just think on a bit when you read things in the paper about racism. And sort of look at it with a bigger lens, shall we say. Anyway, I'm going to love you and leave you now. So take care of yourselves and behave.